point one day becomes the crime.
Is this on? Good morning, you beautiful, beautiful people. It's so good to see you guys. Okay, so guess what? You are our VIP people, obviously. Obviously, of course you are. And I just have to start the day by saying it is Kara Sue's birthday, and I love her. And how cool that she has a birthday on 11/11. So if you want to go through today and go and wish her a happy birthday, why not? In the spirit of beauty and abundance. So what we're going to do, first of all, as the day goes on, so more people like what do you call it, Gen Pop? You're the like VIP admission but everybody else comes at like 12-ish. But we just get this like sacred morning together and it's going to be so good. Are you ready? I'm so excited. I just want to ask Emma, are we already streaming? Because our group, like we have a group of women who are inside of our community. Are they there? I just want to make sure that they get to see it because they're also a part of our VIP and some of them couldn't fly in. Okay, perfect. So the first thing we're going to do is what we do first, is we're going to do a morning practice together. How many of you may have already done something this morning, but you can never have enough time connecting to God and connecting to your truth and your highest wisdom. So another 10 minutes of that is great, but just raise your hand if you've done anything this morning to ground yourself. Awesome. What a gift you are to the world, right? What a gift you are to the world that you set your intention for the day, that you turn your radio on for the day, that you go into the world. So generous, so whole. How beautiful. You're so my people. I love that so much. Thank you. But we're going to, for anyone who hasn't done the morning practice with me, and most of you have, but we're going to do it together. So do you have with you a pen and paper? Because there's a journaling component at the end. Great. You come so prepared. And if you don't, you could just, it's less ideal, but you could write in the notes app on your phone. But if you have pen and paper, that's amazing. Great. So we are going to start with our morning practice. Then I'm going to be teaching you a little Kabbalah like throughout the entire day. I'm going to be teaching you about manifestation throughout the entire day. It's going to be so much fun. And you know how I like to do things, which is really with no plan. So we're all going to make it up today as we go, just be in the flow. And at some point today, I will be signing books. I know many of you already bought a paperback. Thank you so much for doing that. But if you want to get one that's signed and you want to keep that one and give your other one to a friend or give this one to a friend, I'll be signing some. And the money goes to Zibby's bookstore. So we're supporting an independent bookshop. I'll do that later. And there's going to be a brunch, I think at 11, right, Emma? For you guys, for us to hang out. I'll be with you guys during that time too. And then there's going to be some cool speakers who are like, just really magical friends of mine who really live and embody this work, who will be adding a little bit. And there's going to also be some fun surprises throughout the day. We might do some activations. We might have moments where we call people up to get coached on the spot. We'll see who's open and ready for that. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start our morning practice. Now, first of all, we know that if we don't have a meeting with ourselves in the morning, our whole day gets taken hostage, right? Like we will literally just spend the whole day and we will wonder why we have looked outside of ourselves all day for wholeness, right? Because the reward, what you're really after, when you want to manifest the most abundant, amazing life, what you're really looking for, and I will keep saying it, is you're looking for sovereignty. You're looking for a relationship with the divine. You're looking for the deepest wisdom within yourself. You're looking for the part of you that drops all the way in and becomes a channel for divine light. That is what you're looking for. Does that exist anywhere out here? It's right in here, but it's all the way in. It's all the way in. And there's two levels of mind, right? The low level of mind is thought. There's no wisdom in that. There's no answers there. And that is literally a program of survival. And it keeps you unconscious. And it keeps you separate from God. And so if you don't do this practice, you will live from that place. You will live from a place of surviving. You will live from a place of separation. You will live from a place of, here are the things that my mind tells me I need in order to feel better, to be whole, when really we just remembered what we need, didn't we? Now, the higher level of mind is your consciousness, which is not in your head. It's in the field. And every chakra, Kabbalah, we call them sphirot, every energy center of you has a literal antenna. It's picking up from the field. It's downloading from the field. What's the field? God. It's everywhere. It's within you. It's all around you. It is the Ein Sof. It is the endless light. And when you unwind from the mind and you plug into the field, every chakra in you, every sphirot, every energy center communicates, receives, becomes a receiver. Why would you want to miss that? How could you go another day without being available for that reception? And that is the most abundant life possible. When you RSVP to that party, you don't need to be invited to anybody's party. You're the vibe. You walk in every room. You don't need anything. You're there to share something. We were each put here to be a vehicle for light. You're already in overflow when you expand, when you turn on all of this, okay? So in the morning, before the day tells you who to be, before the notifications put you back into the roles that you've played. And by the way, we'll talk later about this month of Cheshvan, which is Scorpio, and what it invites us into, which is so delicious. We have an astrologer coming later who's going to talk a little about that as well. But what we want to do every single day is return to the authentic essence of who we are. Because it's very easy to just put on the somebody suit, right? Like today, I put on this like hot jumpsuit. Although bodysuits, I have to tell you, you pay a little price. That's okay. It's fine. Um, she's like, you're really thin. This woman at Alice Village, she's like, you're really thin now, but you have a long torso, so good luck with that. Anyways, every single day, without noticing it, you zip up your somebody suit, who they told you that you were, right? Like, oh, you're somebody who we rely on for this. You're somebody who does this. Like, and since the age of like 4 and 5, hello, gorgeous friends. This is such a fun day. This feels like my birthday. So why would you want to put back on this ego? Don't you want to change it? Right? We all know that story, or some of you know, because some of you are like my OG listeners. And so when I had Deepak Chopra on the show, the first time Deepak and I spoke, he's like, try something for me. He's like, say I am Cathy Heller. So I'm like, this is awkward. Okay. So I'm like, I'm Cathy Heller. He's like, say it again. I'm like, getting more awkward. Okay. So he's like, say it 3 times. I say it. He's like, now just say I'm Cathy. He's like, say that 3 times. It's like, does that feel different? Try that for yourself in your head. Say your whole name to yourself. And now just say your first name. Is there like a shift in that? It's a little shift, right? Because there's something about just the first name that makes you feel a little bit more closer to your authenticity versus like, I don't know, whatever family stuff or whatever we like take on. I don't know, right? It's like a whole thing. And then he said, just say, I am. I am. He goes, how does that feel? He's like, there you are. That's you. Before you were given to somebody, before you were told who you are, you came with who you are. And as Rabbi Aaron says, which is on page like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 300 of my book, all over my book, right? It's this concept, this knowing that I am someone because I'm some of the one. And by the way, what we understand from Judaism, from Kabbalah, is, and this is all universal, is that God is so kind and so infinite that each of us is still a unique soul within the oneness of God, right? Just like on the periodic table of elements, there's boron and copper and sulfate. They're each unique, but they all make up one spectrum, right? Just like there's red, orange, yellow, but they all make up one spectrum of light, but they're unique. So each of us came into the world with a unique I am, which is a unique expression of the divine, but it's still part of that oneness of God. That's who you are. But if we don't get conscious, we actually abandon that and we become this person that everyone told us to be. That is not a place where we can actually be the most expressed, be the most alive. So every morning we do a practice. And by the way, those of you who are in this abundant life, which so many of you are, we have, by the way, this is so extra special because it's November. We are doing a Black Friday thing also. So for those of you who are not in it, it's as of today through the end of the month, it's 50% off, which is not only is it so good to be in it, but we've now decided, Charlotte and I, hi Charlotte. We've decided that every single day, at least Monday through Friday, not only do I send you every day a meditation, a 1-minute meditation, but every single day, Charlotte, Monday through Friday, will be leading the morning practice on Zoom. So this membership will be this is your check-in. Come hell or high water. And if you can't be there live, you can watch the replay, but it's you will be doing this for 2026, right? This will be such a good reason to get in there. And the code, I think, is Lux because you're at the Lux. And for those of you listening, and anyway, it's 50% off. And really, this isn't a sales pitch. There's no part of me that thinks that needs to be sold. I just remembered that I want to tell you that. And this practice, we're going to be doing it every single day because whether you do it with me or you do it, what convincing do you need to realize that what I just said is your whole life? How high do the stakes need to get before you decide that you're not too busy to take 10 minutes every morning to do what we're about to do? So there's a few components. Everybody has a different morning practice, right? My friend Hal Elrod has Miracle Morning, and he's such an amazing soul, and I'm sure that is delicious, really. He's so special. And a lot of people have, Julia Cameron does her morning pages. So I developed mine based upon what I've been doing that actually puts me right into the vortex. Okay. So we're going to do it together. Many of you already done it with me, but we're going to do it together now. Okay. So there's a few parts of it. And the first part, some of you already know this by heart because we've been doing it already in the membership. And some of you heard me do it on the podcast. We put out a podcast and a masterclass over it recently, but we're going to do it together right now. So the first thing you're going to do when you wake up in the morning is, first of all, acknowledge that within 4 seconds of waking up, this is science, your old program's going to kick in. Within 4 seconds of waking up, how you felt yesterday, you're going to remember, oh, that's still how I feel. I'm still hanging out in that feeling of heaviness or lack or whatever cocktail of emotions, right? Because every thought is something we feel on a cellular level. So you're going to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to gift myself this morning practice before I pick up my phone. So I'm going to set my alarm to wake up early. As the sun's coming up, it's just me and God. I'm going to go get that time. So what I do is, the only thing I do before my morning practice is brush my teeth, because for me, I have to go brush my teeth. Also, I wear Invisalign. I was gotta get it out of my mouth and brush my teeth. And so I get up and I go brush my teeth, and then I put on my robe. And it's usually pretty dark because it's either 5:30 or 6 a.m. My kids are still asleep, and it's that quiet time. And I'm always tiptoeing so nobody wakes up, right? It's please don't wake up right now. And I go sit down. And before I even have coffee or anything, I just sit there and I have my journal and my pen. But before I pick up my journal and my pen, I check in with God. So the very first thing you're going to do, we're going to do it together right now. So here we go. Close your eyes. And the first thing you're going to do every morning is you are going to remember, I am someone, I am some of the one. Now, really, we're going to deeply, and I'm going to do this with you the way I do it. I did it this morning. I am a masterpiece, a piece of the master. And as you are coming into that remembering, I want you to really let that land So now you are the witness to the mind. The mind is not you. The story is not you. The guilt is not you. The people pleasing is not you. The performing is not you. The impressing is not you. The urgency is not you. You are someone, some of the one, which means you are bigger than this body. You are actually nobody because you're someone. You are bigger than this body. You are bigger than time, timeless. Nobody, nowhere, in no time, someone, some of the one. And so now you are bringing your awareness back to the Ein Sof, to this divine light, to God. You're feeling yourself connected to this infinite field, a part of this infinite field, but you have the master within you. So you came to the world to emanate the light of God. And you're feeling yourself coming back into consciousness where all things are created. Consciousness creates form. So you're moving back into that space. That's number one. Feel that for a moment. You are witnessing the mind. You are aligned. Here you are. You just turned the radio to God's channel. You were sent here on a mission. Now you're listening. Now you're back. The second thing you're going to do is you are going to think the thought, I cannot wait to see how this day delights and surprises me. I cannot wait to see the divine conversation that God and I have today and the synchronicity that is always my divine GPS. I can't wait to see it. I'm awake. I'm perceiving. I'm available for the conversation. Feel that. The third thing that you're going to do is to take that thought deeper. And I want you to visualize, even right now, exactly in this day, you're going to do this every day, but for today, you're going to visualize yourself living out today as a divine conversation. How do you feel? How does this version of you walk? What is the ease like? What is the trust like? What is the certainty like? What is the presence like? How are you contributing moment by moment when you are available to perceive that everything is a whisper from God? And everywhere you are is exactly the right place at the right time, who you sat next to, the exact time of everything and its cadence. And you were sent to that exact place to be a light and to receive whatever message and to share whatever message. And just watch yourself visualizing you moving through this day in flow, at ease, in surrender, in certainty. This is the wholeness. This is where you start rearranging reality because you're channeling, because you're walking consciousness in motion. And you are living in the stream of abundance, so you can't not create it in the deepest ways. Memorize this. Where does this sit in your chakras, in your spirit? Where does this sit in you? This is always a breath away. This is always beckoning you back. God wants a relationship with you. You were chosen. You were assigned. Every day is brimming with so much for you to savor and so much love for you to give. Now, when you're ready, slowly blink your eyes open. We're going to hold this consciousness. And now what you're going to do is you're going to write. And when you write, I don't want you editing. I don't want you thinking about coming up with some exquisite Mary Oliver poetic words. I don't want you thinking that it's an essay. You're not turning this in. This is not going on the fridge. This isn't being graded. This is a place where you're going to literally write both the ahas, beautiful insights, and also the crap, because they're both equally important. When you take your hand and write a thought out, a thought, not you, not consciousness, but a thought that's been taking up space, you are getting that poison out of you, because from the witness consciousness place, you are looking at it, and from the witness in you, you know it's not true. You can change the thought. You can move it. You can dissolve it. You can become aware of it. So you're going to get those things out. And at the same time, you are going to allow whatever breakthroughs that need to be reminded, right? Because you just had them. So I'm going to give you several minutes. Now, before you finish, here's part of my practice. I want you to write front and back of at least one piece of paper and just keep writing. Even if you're like, I have nothing else to write right now, just keep going, something else will come through. On the second page, when you get to the top of the second page, I want you to put at the top, here's what I hear you saying. And let God speak, and fill the next page. Go ahead. I'll tell you when a few minutes has completed. 2 more minutes, guys. Okay, 30 more seconds. I love that you guys are writing so much. It's so good. So good. Okay. So, isn't it powerful how much of a world lives in you? And ultimately, what you are so thirsty for is so much more intimacy with what's inside of you. And there is so much power within you. It's not out here. And most of the time, what we're doing is we are circling our power, we are avoiding it, but we're not really living in it. But we don't create from lack, we create from wholeness. So, right now, what you just did, more than any strategy, more than any magic potion, just moving into the resonance of wholeness, you are summoning a complete different arrangement of the universe around you because it bends, the 3D bends to this kind of coherent energy. Can you feel that shift in you from who you were 20 minutes before we started and who started to wake up within you as you went deeper into that practice? What I want you to do now is I want you to turn to the person next to you. And if you're not sitting next to someone, don't be shy. They're all gorgeous, conscious, supportive women in this room. And this is our VIP time. More people come later. So like this is intimate. So we get to actually make even more out of it. I want you to turn to the person next to you and I want you to share an insight that you had, something that just came through and something that you want to be consciously creating that you just saw, whether it's a new version of yourself, something you want to remember. Okay, I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do that. So find someone and share a little bit, and then we'll start the next thing.
Throughout the day, sometimes like when it's like very like the big things when you do when you take stuff when you I think around what the unknown so I can hear it it's got very considered. I don't want to like how can I get two packs of that? I pay them. My phone. I know, but then I have to do like a shirt. You know, I want to like just do some someday. Well, you don't need to make it a lot longer. But you make sure some of them are have a break in their life. We're also running to that. I feel like also like what? Okay. Maybe that's tell her to like literally on it, and I can only do that. I do like so many that it starts to feel like a vibe. Also, that picture is beautiful, but I wanted to take the back out to ask two other people to make it run it. Yeah, it gives it like the stage, like, and by the way, I love that you ordered all of it. It feels like more like these things. Yeah. Can you move that up there? Literally, that's what I wrote. I think you have.
Okay, one more minute. Okay. So I love the buzzing energy that's in here so much. And thank you so much. You can feel how much wants to come alive in you. You can feel how much information wants to be channeled, how many downloads want to come in. And some of it is information about something you want to create. And some of it is just about a very different intention you have for your day or for the way you're holding something that you don't need to hold anymore. Right? And I always say that a miracle doesn't always have to be God splitting the sea. It could literally be a change in your perception. You change your perception, you change your whole life. That's a miracle. I'm sure you actually just felt some of that right now, today, sitting here. How awesome is that? By the way, isn't this cute? They just brought this up here. I was like, hello, 6-foot picture of me. When I was growing up in my room, I had a 6-foot cardboard cutout of Michael Jackson. So people would come in, oh my God. And it was like a little bit confronting. And I was like, you like that? And I used to like kiss him. Oh my God, that went very south. Anyways, you guys, in the 80s, it was a different time. It was a different time. What I want to do is I want to remind you that when we don't take the time to do this practice, when we don't take the time to meet with God in the morning, we miss the whole day. We miss the whole day. And I want to read you something. You guys, I don't know what's been happening with me, but for like the last year-ish, my writing it comes out of my morning practice and then I write. I don't know if you've been watching when I'm writing on Instagram. It's like, I don't even know where it's coming from. I'm like, oh my God, this is obsessed. So the other day I wrote this and it got shared like over 700 times because I think it's a really good message. I think the reason it got shared is because we need to remember it. I want to just read it to you. And this is what I wrote. Make your life look and feel like art. Not because anyone's watching, but because you are. Slow mornings, fresh flowers, music playing while you pour your matcha, emails written with intention, moments that turn the ordinary into something holy. You don't need to earn beauty because you are it. You get to move through the day like the muse, sensual, grounded, unapologetically alive. Because pleasure is not frivolous, it's holiness. Because wealth is not numbers, it's the frequency of aliveness. And I just started to tear up because my best friend is here and she's like, you're the most alive person. And she always reminds me of that. And I think she's quoting something that somebody once said, but she says it because she means it. And it's like, you guys, people will say to me, oh, everything you touch turns to gold and whatever. It's like, I felt rich when I had nothing. Because being alive, like really being here for the show, you feel so rich. right? God shows off every morning, the color, the moonlight, the sun, the people you get to love, the people who love you, the lessons you learn, even the hard shit. You're like, thank you for breaking open my vessel so I can expand, because I was just ready to be so unavailable for that. That's what it means. When something hard is happening, you've outgrown that shell. That's why it's hard. You don't belong on that timeline anymore. So it's kicking you out of there. That's a gift. All of it is a gift, right? And so, what if your day was an altar to the divine, where you were there for the taste of the coffee? You didn't miss that those colors were made out of the dirt. That color pink, it's not Crayola, it's God, right? Every one of you and the whole world that's in your eyes that you get to meet. Every time I meet a person, I'm like, I'm unwrapping a Christmas gift. This is amazing. The story, the resilience, the magnificence. You know, I interviewed not all of, but most of the cast of The Office over the last several years. And I remember, I don't even think it was Jenna Fisher. I think it was Brian Baumgartner, who was telling me that when he was talking to Greg Daniels about The Office, and this is like so funny. It's like, why are we talking about The Office? Because this is so deep and so beautiful. Brian said, I think Jenna mentioned this to me, but I think it was Brian who actually said this on the podcast. I was like, it was him. She knows like every one of the 1,000 episodes we've done by heart. I'll be like, what was the name of that man? And she's like, you know, it's someone so obviously. It was Tony Robbins who said that. I'm like, oh, okay, forgot. Um, anyway, he said that the very last line of The Office is Jenna, it's Pam, and the director, I guess, because there's always, you know, a camera. It's so normal at a paper company. And he says, so why do you think there was a documentary made about Dunder Mifflin? And she goes, I don't know. And then she pauses, and this is the last line of the show. She says, I guess because there's beauty in ordinary things. And maybe that's the point. That's the last line. And Brian said to me that he was walking with Greg Daniels, who created that show, through a parking lot, like in the early days when they were like, we don't know what we're making, we're just going to go for it. And in the middle of the concrete in a parking lot, there was like a little green sprout of green that was growing between the concrete. And he said to Brian, you see that? That shouldn't even be there. There's beauty everywhere. It's just trying to break through in every moment, right? And why do we all love that show? Because they're just regular people. They look like regular people, and they have real lives like regular people. And it's so beautiful, right? We don't know what moves the axis of the earth. And my best friends and I talk about this all the time. It's not how many Instagram followers you have. It's not how many millions of dollars you make. It's the compassion you gave to someone one day. They didn't even really deserve it. You gave it anyway. It's the moment you paused and you took responsibility for something and you went, oh my gosh, I want to do that better. That changes the world, right? It's the moments you slow down and you show up to fully accept yourself every single day. All the parts of you. The parts that are broken, the parts that are people pleasers, the parts, and you have no shame in you. I love who I am because I've walked beside this person. And I'm so proud of her. I'm going to be her best friend. And I'm going to really, truly accept and love, because all my edges are actually what make me exactly who I am. And even the hard stuff is a gift, because that's part of what I came here. That's part of my assignment, because you know your medicine is what you needed, right? So when we can do those things, that reverberates. And you know what the world is so thirsty for? Authenticity. What is authenticity? Love. Because when you move from this level of wholeness and you walk into a room, you're not trying to manipulate anyone. You're not trying to control how people perceive you. You're in wholeness. You are then the most generous person in the space. And the whole world starts to move toward you. That is so magnetic, right? When you now live your life from that place, you parent from that place, you're in relationship from that place, you look in the mirror from that place, you run your business from that place. How do you think that changes? Everything. It's everything. And here's the great thing and the cool thing about the way God runs the world. the more wholeness, the more equanimity, the more of this frequency that you embody, you start printing all the abundance. You become a 3D printer. So it shows up, and you get to buy a cool outfit like this, and you get to also have Cartier, because it's a match, right? Beauty is a match to that kind of beauty. And money, and we'll talk about this later because we're going to teach a lot of things today, but money is meant to be circulated, right? And it's meant to be a match for high standards. But what are the high standards? It's not just in luxury, it's in the thoughts you tolerate thinking. It's in the energy you tolerate within yourself and all around you. And it starts with you. And it starts with you remembering that you're someone, some of the one. So why would you be in lack? And why would it be so urgent for you that you have to wake up? You know, if you don't do this practice in the morning, your mind, it's so boring. Fear is just so boring, and it's such a liar. But it's going to say things like, oh my God, you're just so unimpressive. You better be productive today. You better get up. It's urgent. Get up and go make money. Like, it's going to say stupid, dumb things. But when you slow all the way down and your whole day is actually about making art out of every moment, that's the best strategy for your business. That's how you summon it. That's how you collapse time and space. That's the strategy. Because you know what happens in those moments? Boy, do you get a download. And when you're in ease and trust and certainty, you know what you're saying to God? I have an idea. Instead of me trying to do this, you got this. I know you got this. I'm available for the synchronicity. It's going to be even better than I could have imagined. And boy, will it be. Right? Does anyone want to share? We'll take 3 of you just to raise your hand and share something that you got out of the conversation that you just had with someone who you just talked to today, or something that you just wrote. Is there an aha, something you want to remember? A brave soul raises her hand.
She said that because I was very nice with
Okay.
she was saying that I need to change my timeline instead of, overthinking it and reliving it, change my timeline, change the history, and then it will change in the future, essentially.
Sounds like such good advice. Do you want to, who said this? You want to teach this workshop today? That was good. 2 more. Who else wants to share? Something you got out of today, something you want to share. I know it's like scary. Brave, very brave of you.
So earlier, somebody asked me what I do, and I downplayed it. And so in the conversation, the fabulous Melissa helped me with, I really, in the journaling, I realized where I don't claim what I do from an empowered place, even though I know my worth and value in it, but I realized the downplaying. And so then when I did the long version for Melissa, she really helped me distill it down. It's like, freaking brilliant. I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. So, yes.
That is, hi, Melissa. That is so good. And I just wanted to say, many of you are with me. Just raise your hand if you were with us in Boca like a month and a half ago. I know, my people, it's so much fun. Oh my God, it's like the best slumber party ever. It really is. I don't know when our next retreat is, but whenever it is, you guys have to come. At the end of the retreat, I won't give it all away, but we have this moment where we have everybody kind of walk into the room, and they have to go through a little journey before they walk in, so that they walk in as themselves, like unapologetically, not diluting themselves, just standing in the power, like in the truth, right? And I posted a reel, which you could scroll back, and some of you already saw it, but you could see it, of like some of the entrances, because there's like 70 of them, but there were some of them. Kara was in it. And your entrance was so good. She was like, came in like just so powerful. It's so radiant. But the point I'm making is that we think somehow we're doing anyone a favor by shrinking. Like, we think somehow by being humble, which that's not humility. We'll talk about that. But we think that that's like better or somehow more palatable. But it's the opposite. When you walk in the room, like how I felt today, do you know the love that I got? You're like, oh my God, I love what you're wearing. You know why? When you walk in the room and you're just fully lit, you are a Christmas tree. You're just lit up. You're in it. You're excited. All the chakras are open. You're just available. You're in your power. You're not diluting yourself. That's generosity. Because what you become is, you have to remember, the way that our whole operating system works is we see ourselves in other people. So what happens when a woman is just like standing in this like goddess energy, right? Think of like Kate Middleton, Ivanka Trump. I don't know. Think of the women, Kim Kardashian. Sometimes I can't figure her out, kind of. But like in some ways, I have to give her props, you know, like I do feel there's something really deep and authentic about that shit that she's got going on. But maybe someone else, I don't know. We need to have a coffee. Call me, Kim, we'll talk. Anyway, but whoever it is, like Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer, I don't know who the woman is that you think of. It's so fucking generous. It's such a vibe because you see that person and you're like, oh my God, you're calling up a possibility of who I have permission to become in myself. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Like we did this at the retreat and Kara was there, Pippa was there. Like women would walk in and we were all like so celebrating them, celebrating themselves. It was like, oh, the room just lit up with like music and electricity. And every single woman were like, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. So like this humility thing, it's total bullshit. It's actually not generous. Because when you walk in the room and you're dimming your light, you're dimming your light. Right? God's not doing that. Do you think the divine is like, sorry, the sun's too bright today? Right? Like, no. Right? Moses, we know that Moses was the most humble human being that ever lived and so much greatness. But that's humility. When you can hold divine light in a state of humility, you're not doing it for the self alone. You're doing it on behalf of a collective. That's the job. You're each meant to play in this orchestra full out. So play the cello. You're a cello. Play the banjo. If you're a banjo, play it. Play it. You are that note. No one else will play your note. It's not possible. So you're going to take away the godliness that's meant to come through you, the way you are uniquely made in your divine assignment, and you're going to dilute that. And that's humility? I don't think so. Are we all getting that? My 14-year-old say, is that clocking to you? That's her name. Is that clocking to you? I'm like, okay, clocking, I got it. I walk around, I'm like, bro, no. Like I'm like low key, 6'7", it's not gonna work. Like I spend all my time with a 9, 12, and 13-year-old. But look how she dressed me. It's awesome. Okay, so one more. Who wants to go next? Yeah.
So this is vulnerable, but the vision I got, because I didn't write.
Can you guys all hear her? Sort of? Okay.
I'm just gonna go here with you all.
Go.
I've had a vision my whole life of me standing on a stage and emitting green energy around me and lighting the hearts of people around me up.
Oh my God, it's wicked. It's coming out at the end of the month. It's the green energy.
It's coming out. And I had this moment of, can you sit right here and send energy of green to the whole room? And can you do that with a generous, pure heart? Because it's not about where you are in the room. It's about the energy you put into the space. And I was like,
that is magnificent.
yeah, so generously and happily. And that was my vision.
I love that, Peyton. That's amazing. We're going to call her Elphaba from now on. Yes. It's so interesting that you said this is going to be vulnerable. And then you said the most beautiful poetic thing like I've heard ever. I mean, that was like amazing. Isn't that interesting? It's vulnerable because we abandon our power most of our life. The rooms most of us grew up in, we made a decision that it wasn't safe to be powerful. Because if you're in this room, especially if you are a soul that was born right now, I can tell you you've been here many times. And if you're in this room where your value is like higher consciousness, I can tell you that you grew up in a living room where you were like, oh, I know a lot of things. Should I say what I know? Oh, that didn't go well. Okay, I'm just going to zip that up, right? And most manifestors, most people who come here to really clear a path, they do that in their second act because you know you're a little extra and that doesn't necessarily feel safe to be. I mean, do you understand how 7th grade went for me? Like, where were you guys? I could have used you. It was weird. It didn't go smoothly. No, like I didn't have friends. Like I started out having friends and then it was a long story, but I won a talent show. I won a talent show singing Get On Your Feet by Gloria Estefan. And I was doing that thing where we used to take a shirt and put it in a bunched up thing. What? what was happening with that? I had a bird on my shirt, put a bird on it from Portlandia. No, I had a bird on my shirt, leggings, and then one of those cone things in my hair. Was great. And I sing well, so I won this talent. You say, I know it's a waste of. Anyway, I sang in 7th grade. And then the girl who was my runner up, she did like a burn book about me. It was like Total Mean Girls before that was even a thing. And I'm just going to be vulnerable. I'll just tell you. They basically said that I masturbated. That was like, I didn't even yet know what that meant, but it was very like shameful. You want to call her? Do you know that she friended me on Facebook like a year ago, like, oh, hey, girl. And I was like, hey, girl? Like, what? So they had this whole thing. Actually, do you want me to go really juicy? I bet my mom's watching. She's going to laugh. So in 7th grade, before this talent show, like, I thought I was cool. I had all these friends. I was like, oh, my God, you're at my house. Anyone who's walking in now for the first moment of the day, this is going to be hilarious. Okay, Vanessa, good luck. Good luck to her. So my mom thought she was being cool to my friends, so she showed my friends her sex toys. Not a smooth move. In 1992? No, we don't do that. But my parents had just split up. My mom's like, you don't need a man. And I was like, I'm dead. I just died. Somebody bury me under the floor, okay? So after I won this talent show, this girl, Rachel, oh my God, sad that her name, such a beautiful name, such an evil person. Anyway, she decided it was like the perfect time to take me off my high horse and like spread that around the world. So you could imagine, wasn't good for me. But you know what my new self would have done? I would have been like, fuck yeah, I do that. What is that? Yeah, I do that. I'm empowered and you're not. Except I didn't yet know how to use those or what. I still don't. We should talk about that later. But the point is that it was horrible. It was horrible. And I made decisions in my head that that shining was not safe. Like winning a talent show, having power, having talent, not safe, right? So you just kind of like dim it, right? And then of course, my parents got divorced and I tried to be their litigator and I tried to defend them both and get them back together and it didn't work and nobody could hear me. And I was like, I'm screaming as loud as I can and nobody can hear me. You know, it's like, it wasn't, and then with both of them, they were both going through so much of their own stuff. And if I would actually say what I thought was the truth, they would lose their minds. You know what I mean? I'd be like to my dad, maybe you should apologize. Oh, no, just kidding. You keep doing whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? It was like a disaster. And my mom, I was trying to get my mom to like want to live for herself and like enough with him. Like, and she would be like, I'm a victim. Don't you see this? And I'm like, I don't, but I'll let you have that. It's okay. Like he did you a favor. Like this wasn't a good marriage. Like you're free. She was hot at 46 when he left. Like I'm 46 now. Like what was she doing? I don't know. But anyway, you just learn to take all the information and you just bury it deep. And you're like, I know what I'll do. I'll be like a dulled version of myself for a while until you realize I literally can't live this way anymore and it's not serving anybody. Here's the cool news. When you actually choose to be completely and totally fucking authentic, you, on the other side of that, the people who are really your people are waiting there for you. They're like, so glad you showed up. Let's fucking go. And it gets so good. Like my friendships are the best. Like I have the best people in my life and we're all just singing each other's song. Like, get it, more, go. Like no one who's actually made of what you want this world to be would ever want you to dim your light. Are you hearing me? Okay, cool. And they're only going to just keep like encouraging it in you. It's like you can't take somebody else's abundance. It's the total opposite, right? The more you are living abundance and possibility, you are literally like a candle lighting other candles and there's an infinite amount to go around. So I hope that you will continue to feel that and walk out if you're later today, like more turned up. Can we do that? Okay, cool. And then we'll have a whole conversation about sex toys because that's... But can you believe that happened to me? Do you feel bad for me? You should. You should feel really bad for me. Okay? Of anything else I've told you, that just wasn't. Beverly Cleary never wrote that in her book. Like Judy Blume, that wasn't in the story. Not supposed to happen. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. Anybody who just walked in, you're probably like, what was this conversation? I'll update you later. We did a whole morning. It was beautiful, I promise. It was like high vibe. No, it's all, even like laughter, like just being able to laugh at yourself is just such a fucking vibe. It's so good. I love all of it. All of it. Like, look what God created. Depth, humor. It's just the best. So thank you for laughing with me. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to call up two of my Torah teachers, two people that I go to. People ask me all the time, like, who should I learn Kabbalah from? And I'm like, these two people. So Jenny Goldfarber and Rona Lazari, will you guys come up to the stage? Come join me. And there are 2 microphones and 2 chairs. So it works out perfectly. You can take the stairs. You can take the scenic route. Could you be more beautiful with also the wisdom inside of you? Look how beautiful these girls are. A second, hon. You. I love you so much. Okay, see if your microphones work and sit. Okay, so a little background story. So this is, I don't even know if you know this, but I'm going to update you both on all the things. So 2001, 2, and 3, I was like learning, studying Kabbalah, living in Israel. Love that my divine GPS like took me there because that was a hard left turn. Like I was not planning to go do that. And it's the reason for everything. Okay, enough said. So Jenny and I actually went to the same high school. You missed the sex toys thing because we didn't really even know each other till you were in 9th grade. You missed that chapter.
Very sadly.
Very sadly. I feel like you would have totally had my back, by the way.
Rachel would have been dead woman.
Yeah, exactly. Even now, you're like, let's go. Let's send a DM.
Yes, I can work off it.
Exactly. I know you will. Wait till I tell you what she did for ChatGPT. I'll talk about that later. Anyways, so we knew each other in high school, but I'm 2.5 years older. I always say 2.5 and not 3 because I want to have that extra 6 months back. Thank you so much. Okay, 2.5, not 3. Anyways, so we knew each other in high school, but like we really became friends when I came back from my first year in Israel. We met and you were thinking about going and you were like, my parents aren't. I'm like, you're going. Oh, you're going. So then she went. And so for the last almost 3 decades, 2.5 decades, we've been having this deep conversation. We study all this mystical text together. Whenever we're together, that's at least part of what we're doing. And she's so deep into it and she's written so much on it and she's been teaching it and sharing it for a very, very long time. In fact, when you were living in New York City in 2004 or 5, she was literally for free going through New York City. So cute. And she was transcribing some of the deepest mystical texts and just passing them out like in the city. And I was like, she was studying Rabbi Nachman of Breslev and then like rewriting it and printing it and just giving it away because of course she has no other motive. Anyway, so when people say, where should I go to learn Kabbalah? I'm like, do you know Jenny? Because she teaches it and she's been teaching more of it. And Rona, when I moved to Los Angeles in 2004, I was living in this apartment and then I decided to go back to Israel for like another 6 months to study. And I sublet my apartment to this girl and I had a 2-bedroom. And while I was in Israel, she invited her friend into the other bedroom. It was Rona. She was sleeping in my bed, but we had never met. And years later, she was in one of my programs, listening to my podcast. She was following my work. And we met up, we ran into each other at the Grove in Los Angeles. And she's like, I know you. And she's like, but wait, you don't understand. I slept in your bed. I was like, what happened? Is this about the sex toys again? I'm like, where are we going? And she's like, you don't understand. Like I was living in your energy. Do you know that? And I was like, that is the coolest, wildest thing. And so she literally recently just did this thing at the Saban Theater and she spoke in front of hundreds of people and she's been teaching Kabbalah and wisdom. And it's been so cool over the last so many years to just be walking together on this path, bringing this light, this universal wisdom to the world with the 2 of you. It's been so fun. Oh my gosh. So I want to open up a conversation about, we're going to do a lot of different things today. We're going to talk about money and how to manifest money and what that consciousness looks like. We're going to talk about the month of Scorpio later and how to dig into Cheshvan, what this lunar energy is. And we're also going to be giving you different pieces, right, of Kabbalistic wisdom throughout the day that can hopefully be consciousness for you that helps you as a tool, right, to start calling in and receiving more of this infinite light. So I just want to kind of open it up because I'm sure that there's hours of things that you want to teach, but like, what's one thing on your heart right now that you feel is helpful, that is a piece, like one of the pinnacle pieces, your favorite pieces of this wisdom that really helps you manifest, getting into the flow, getting into the divine channel?
You jump in, sure. So one thing that I regularly look back at and think of very often to try and get myself realigned in my thinking is, number one, that our souls agreed, literally signed on the dotted line, to come into this world with everything we've got today, including picking our parents, our eye color, our personality traits, our talents and sensitivities, all of the good and bad. And that everything that comes at us is just a reflection of something that we need to see in our own journey. I love this idea of creating art as we go, because it's all about,
Your mic a little closer.
sure, it's all about how we are seeing this gorgeous world and how we can navigate through each scene. And if we have this consciousness that we've come here with this divine assignment, we're continuing to uncover what that is, that we have like a special perspective. And so I love one idea that I love that I think of a lot is that, we have this aspect, says Kabbalah, of what's known as our positive inclination, which is really the natural state of the soul and who we really are. And then we come with this negative inclination that's really like our boxing or sparring partner to help us get to the new level. And so one of the sparring partner is really something to keep an eye on because it's really insidious and it's coming at us. It says, one of my teachers, Gedalia Fenster, I know one of your teachers as well, says new level, new devil, meaning whatever high level you come off of after this day today with Cathy, there's a new devil there waiting to hit you with those new things that you just took on. So that's like for real. And that the way this new devil works is it has kind of like it's like a double-edged sword, and one end is it makes you feel depressed, and the other end makes you feel ego. It's really like a different sides of the same coin, and it's a journey that we all have to kind of fight against this, and as we do, we're able to achieve new levels of our soul can be brought down into this world. And one thing I've heard just in a very simple form is that this negative inclination makes you think you're unhappy for good reason, gives you justification for why things suck and aren't good. And so if we can battle that each day in its own way, we can win the war of our lives and our whole story, and we can take back what's really rightfully ours, which is this soul consciousness, which is this good inclination, which is the natural state of who we really are. So
That's so beautiful. I'm going to turn to you in 1 second, Rona. I just want to say that I know some Hebrew, right? I one of the years I spent in Israel, I literally just took classes just in Hebrew, which was helpful for me because you really through immersion can learn it. But it's interesting because the word Satan, which the English, I guess, version is Satan, right? The word Satan in Hebrew, that's where the word comes from. Actually, that word, I only just learned this, means opponent. And the way that Kabbalah looks at this is that when your soul was created, okay, an equal opponent was created. Why? So that you would become exactly who you're meant to become, right? Something that goes along with you through your life so that you choose free will, so that you're constantly aware of, where's my choice here, right? If everything was always obvious to you, if all the objective truth was obvious to you, where's your free will? Your free will is constantly seeking more expansion, is going, wait. I know I can manifest more. It's like Abraham Hicks says, contrast is actually good. The contrast lets you know, no, this is what I desire. And then what feels so good? Creating more expansion in your life. So God, and it's God's infinite intelligence, knew you wanted it that way. We were told, you can have a perfect world. And humanity said, that's really boring. Okay? And so God's the great experiment of God is to say, can I create human beings that have bechira, free will, which animals don't? Animals just live on assignment. They're not going to say, should we speak gossip about that polar bear over there? Like, they're just not doing it. They're just going to be in the natural order, which means even if they eat another animal, that's not them doing anything evil. They didn't choose to do bad. They're just meant to do it. They're programmed. There's no free will. Do you hear what I'm saying? I know you love your dog and it runs up to you. God gave you that as a gift. It's just going to do that. It's programmed to love you. It's never going to go, I just want a different owner. I'm not feeling it. I don't know. What do you think? Let's go, right? Unless it's Garfield, which is, kind of made up, but kind of made up, totally made up. Anyway, so because you're meant to have the most satisfying experience, you have an opponent. And that opponent is going to be like, maybe you want to go down this path, which is like the total path of sabotage. And your soul goes, no, I want more for myself than that, right? There's deeper here. There's more alignment here, right? That is the entire point of the journey. And sometimes that opponent is like, you think you're more powerful than you are? You're not. You can't do that. And you're like, yeah, I can. Oh, you think you're going to set that boundary? You know what's going to happen. You're like, no, I'm going to choose it. And boom, a whole nother level of your life opens up. But then new bechira, new free will, new level of opponent, right? Does that track? So when you think of Satan, the word Satan, which is the Hebrew word, it's actually like a much more beautiful way to say it too, Satan. That's the Hebrew. And you think this Satan is my opponent. And here's the beautiful thing about it. This is the part. The way God programmed the Satan is it's actually hoping you beat it. It's actually hoping that you're going to win because it's there to hopefully help elevate you to that next level. Does that make sense? So, Rona, you can jump in on this, and I'm sure there's a million things you want to say, so I'm not going to say anything else.
You know when you know you're in the right place, you guys probably all feel this, is you feel like somebody can finish a sentence for you or what you were just about to say. You both, like, literally, it's as if we're all just on this frequency and we're like, I'll say this word, you say that word, and we're like, yes, we're all just going to say this thing that we all know we feel. That's the oneness, and that's what literally just happened, where what I was just about to say, you touched on, and then you jumped in, so it's just like here for me. So here it is. I wanted to first talk about the assignment because it's so interesting you said that. That's the word that kept, popping up when Cathy talked about this is your assignment. Do you ever take apart the word? And I've never thought of it this way until this morning. Assignment has the word sign in it. You did sign into this life.
Oh, that's good.
And the fact that you just brought that up too just reassures me this was what God wanted me to touch on today, and why I'm in front of you here is we signed that agreement. We signed that dotted line. We said yes. And that is so empowering. And it's like, what is the yes? What did we say yes to? And when you hear, as you both so beautifully said, it's, my teaching, I learn a lot of the Tanya, which is based on the Kabbalah, based on the Zohar. It's a Jewish teaching of mysticism. It's like, well, what did God mean when he said, right? And what is the message? And how do we go the layer deeper? What is our soul here for? And so much of what I wanted to share, you just touched on, which is this concept of Benoni. It's a big concept in Tanya, which is the majority of us are not super righteous and we're not super Satan either, right? We're not super righteous, we're not super evil. We're somewhere on this journey of the in-between. That's literally what Benoni means. And why is that so beautiful? Beautiful, friends, is what Cathy just said. We get the choice. There is such an expansion, there is such a holiness when we have the opportunity to choose. And it's something that is scary because it's like, God, we just wish we had the clarity, right? And we do all this work to find out, but what should I choose? But just knowing that that choice is so sacred. And Judaism teaches some of the holiest tzaddikim, we call them, the most righteous, they're envious of you and me. And the fact that we contemplate and we have to assess what decision to make, which direction to go into, because there is such an elevation in that, right? When you're at that crossroad and you're like, should I choose the uncomfortable, the unknown, the scary, knowing that something so wonderful is on the other end, or should I stick with the comfort and the predictable? And so that is just knowing every day that that's supposed to feel like this, right? It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to make us stop and wonder. That is so empowering.
I want to say something about that. We were just talking about this on Shabbat. We were, as we do, talking for an hour about all these mystical things. And I was sharing one of my favorite concepts here, which is that So we all know like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Joseph, the brothers, we all know these stories, right? And by the way, when you one day come with me to walk the land of Israel, you're gonna be like, that really happened. Holy shit, that's so cool. These were real people. So one of the things that's so powerful about you just said, and this is reflected in the Torah and in the Kabbalah, we learn out this wisdom, is that when Jacob is dying, okay, this is a true story. Jacob is dying, he has all of his kids around him. And Joseph, we know that Joseph was a prophet. Joseph came into the world with prophecy. He could read people's dreams. Like this man was not one of us, right? It was like a magician, like coming into the world, like seeing clearly God's path, was able to read the cosmos, living in the 5D. Capiche? You get what I'm saying? I went to Italy this summer. Can I say capiche? Like I can like, I love it. By the way, you don't need therapy. Just go to Italy. It changes everything. Okay. All right. So anyways, Joseph is there and all the brothers are there and Jacob is dying. So he has to give the blessing to which one of his sons is going to now like basically lead, right? And everyone looks at Joseph like Joseph was the favorite, right? Joseph is the one with all the skills. Joseph is the one who's like on a different dimension. And he calls Yehuda over, he calls Judah over and he says, it's you. You're the leader. In fact, that's why we're called Jews. That's why we're called Yehudim, right? Because we came from him, right? So why? Because he was actually a person in the middle. He actually struggled, right? He was a person who in his life, he was part of like throwing his brothers into this pit and like making all of this shit happen, right? Which like caused a lot of pain and suffering. But then he also redeemed himself, right? In fact, I don't know if you know this story, but this is also a true story. So I have friends right now who are like in Egypt, and I was like, oh, it's interesting. Like they're kind of like there for totally different reasons, not Kabbalistic reasons, but it's just kind of cool. I was looking at the pictures my friend was posting today of like the pyramids, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so interesting because it's a big chapter of Jewish history, right? So in Egypt, okay, this is a true story. There was a famine, right, in the land of Israel, the land of Canaan, and so the brothers went down to Egypt because there was more supply. And Joseph, of course, had been in jail, but he could read people's dreams. He was a prophet. So that was like an amazing ability. So they wind up like taking him to the Pharaoh, taking him to the king. Everybody loves him. He's right about everything he says. And he becomes like the viceroy. He becomes like super in charge. Okay. So when years go by and his brothers come down to Egypt, they don't recognize him because he, first of all, it's been 30 years. Okay. And also he's in all the garb. He's in the robes. They're not expecting that. Okay. And he knows it's them. Okay, he knows it's them. And so he wants to give them a test to see if they're the same that they were, right? Remember, they had so much jealousy over him that they took his coat, threw him in the pit. He got sold down to Egypt. He went into prison, like the whole thing. And here he is, like at the top of the top, and he sees them. And Jacob has said to his sons, Jacob had two wives. Anyone know their names? Rachel and Leah. And he had two kids with Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. And so Benjamin's his youngest, and he says to the boys, I know you're going down there to get food and all of this, but you have to bring Benjamin back. Like, I'll die. Like, you have to protect him and bring him back. And they're like, of course we're going to protect him. So Joseph is watching this whole scene. They don't know it's him, and he frames them. He takes a gold cup and puts it in Benjamin's bag. And as they're leaving, he says, oh, did you steal this? You're going to have to come with me. You're going to have to stay behind. And the brothers are like, this doesn't compute. Like, we have to come home with him. You guys tracking what I'm saying? So in that moment, Judah walks over to Joseph, not knowing it's his brother, and he says, take me instead. That'll kill my father. Take my life. Like, take me to jail. Don't take him. And in that second that he stands in that literal redemption, right? He's gone full circle and made a completely different choice. Joseph says, it's me, it's your brother. And he is my brother, and that is my father. Bring the whole family. I have food for all of you. And they hug. And what the Kabbalah says is that when you step into that level of truth, everything moves into divine order. Did you hear what I just said? Now, that's why she said what she said. That's why he gets the blessing. Because Joseph couldn't do that. Because he came to the world perfect. So he couldn't ascend. He was already there. Do you get that? So the miracle, the vision, is not to compare yourself to something perfect. It's to understand that there is more holiness in the redemption, in the ascension, in the choosing of something that is so radically putting you in divine order. It recalibrates the whole world around you. I'm going to say it again in case we missed this part. When he chose to stand for the truth of all that was, nothing could stand false anymore. Where in your life are you still not telling the whole truth? Where in your life are you not operating from the truth because you're trying to control the way you think? You have to control it because you're afraid it's going to fall apart. What if things are meant to be in divine order and the way you summon them, the way you collapse time and space is by just fully surrendering whatever you're afraid of and you say, take me, whatever the take me is, right? 3 months before my dad died, I was like, my sister's been asking me for 25 years to be real with this man. And I'm like, everything's great. He's like, is air conditioning too cold? No, it's fine. I didn't pay your mom alimony. That's fine, right? It's totally fine. It's like, I was just like lying all the time. I was so afraid. I was still the 6-year-old version of me and he's dying. My sister's like, go be yourself for once in your life. Don't miss the opportunity to step into power with your father before he leaves us. Do it. I was like, I could do a million things. I could host a podcast, write a book, have 3 children. The third one didn't get the epidural, got there too late. I could even do that. But I can't do this. She's like, you're going to do it. And you're not going to walk in there like the 6-year-old version of me. You're going to walk in with the wisdom in you. And I did that. I was like, Dad, I need to talk to you. He's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for you to knock on this door with this truth for 30 years. He's like, I knew it's all bullshit. He's like, you know how much guilt I felt? I know I left you guys, but you won't let me in. But that's okay. He's like, your sister, she screamed at me. She's followed me. She goes, you know how much closer we are? Because she let me feel it. I had to ask for forgiveness, and then she forgave me. He's like, you're just like this. He's like, and that's okay, because it's my fault. I'm like, I want to talk to you. And so I sat down with him, and instead of it being 30 minutes, it was 4 hours. And I was like, remember when I was 14 and you gave me an address and you were actually living a double life with someone else? I went to that house, Dad. I looked in the window. There was no furniture in there. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you understand all the things that I know that happened? Do you understand what I went through? Do you know what it felt like? And he was like, no. I never knew. I was like, yeah, Mom tried to commit suicide and you weren't there. I called the ambulance. I was 14 by myself. He goes, I'm so nauseous, but I'm so happy right now. He's like, because I have you back. And he goes, and I don't care what it is that's true. I just want you. And I want it to be true. And he's like, and I did this and I have to feel it. He's like, please don't leave. Keep going. And I walked out of there and I realized I had denied myself so much love that was in escrow for me. So much. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So the fact that I couldn't let him do that for me, you know, in how many other relationships I would be like, I got it. Oh, no, I don't need anything. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like, what version of friendship is that? How many times were you like, you don't have to do that. Why are you doing so much? Let me do it. I'm like, no. It's like, that's really saying, I don't trust that I can be myself here. And not only that, who he became, the opportunity he then had to step into his choice. And we only had 3 more months. And those 3 months, he was so there. And he was like, this is the best. He's like, I dreamed of it. I didn't know how to get to it, but we have it now. And I wear his bracelet every single day. And I've had the most mystical experiences. And I really can feel, Dad, thank you so much. Like, since he passed, like, he's gifting me. Like, any transformation you see in me, I feel like he is the wind at my back. The choice, thank God, you're right. We weren't born Sadiqim. We weren't born these perfect, righteous people. We get to literally create so much ascension. And when we do that, do you know how the earth shifts on its axis? Do you know how heaven rearranges when a regular person can find the strength, right? and also to give the compassion, because I did have to give my dad a tremendous amount of it. Those are the reasons we wind up manifesting an amazing life. And I want to talk about that for a moment, because what's so powerful is that how we start to live in alignment does create real manifestations. Like what I just said is one version of a manifestation, but like then there's like my whole life, right? Like what I get to do with my life and all the things that have happened. And it looks as though, oh, well, who was your publicist? Like, it's not that, right? It's like truth does something in the world. Truth is your strategy. Resonance is your strategy, right? And you both have had so many cool things that have made manifest, which I think some of that would be really inspiring. So if you could tie together, and Emma, would you mind? Where'd she go? Charlotte, will you just take this and fill this up with water for me? Can you just share how living in this kind of alignment is related to manifestation? Thank you, my love.
Yeah. So, first off, I grew up in an environment that was like, it was kind of okay to like cheat on some tests and, speak a bad thing behind someone's back and whatever. If you could take advantage of something, you should. And I had to work, very hard in all these teachings to be able to get the spiritual development to live with so much more integrity. And I mean, even when I think back, like in middle school, I was like the biggest trash talker. I thought I was funny and making friends, but really it was totally the opposite. It was totally backfired on me. And only later did I learn the holiness in speech and being able to like use your words for good. Even telling a true story is considered what's known as like dark speech, that you shouldn't even go there according to Kabbalah. Even if it's a true story, if it makes someone look bad. There's so many layers to this holiness. And so as I started living my life with more integrity and holiness, and even watching not only what went into my mouth, eating better foods, but certainly what came out of my mouth, and living in a higher existence, I started getting better at life, and created a family and had these beautiful children. And then one day I was tooling around in my kitchen and I created a kind of healthier kind of sandwich meat that I wound up bringing into a number of old school delis, and got onto Shark Tank and made a deal with Mark Cuban and have it sold now across the country, and all sorts of incredible manifestations. But to me, that's a footnote, because it's how I'm living this existence with this level of like heart-centeredness and love and wanting to do the right thing and wanting to help other people. And the business at the beginning, it's a plant-based meat, which was super sexy in like 2019, 2020. And if you remember, the Beyond Burger was getting going. And then for the last like 3 years, it's been very, very tough industry. But I'm still living my own life with the same kind of energy. And I had a situation last year that, one other big principle in Kabbalah is giving charity. It's like it's actually considered that we're given a little extra in every paycheck of our own, and it's considered insurance on our own money to be able to share. And by the way, there are a lot of considerations on what is charity, and even spiritual learning, like here today. This is one element of it, but there are other elements of it too, giving to parents in need, and a lot of very obscure things. It's worth a chat GPT ask, because it's very cool, actually. And so I had an opportunity 2 years ago to like commit much more than I thought I should or could, or knowing that if the business even continued, could I justify it? And I said, you know what, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to like claim it, that I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my name down for it. And month over month, I can't even believe people say, how's the business? Beyond Meat is almost closing and going bankrupt. I'm like, somehow. And I'm telling you, the how is because of like the good-centeredness, like committing charity in advance, that like God now has to do his end to keep the business alive in order to keep my charity, up. And so these are just like little ways for how, and how we speak and how it's said that like, there's this idea in Kabbalah called the central column, and it means that with everything we receive, if we can find a little way to share some of that, okay, in every single interaction, how can I help this person for 5 minutes of the hour-long conversation? Or in every single paycheck, how can I give a little bit of that? And there's I've heard rabbis say we have the trademark on good marriages, because we have this thing where we're together and then we're apart for some of the month with the men and the women. And so there's a way to give a little, to take a little bit and to give a little little bit with our relationships too. It manifests in a lot of different ways. And so, so when you're able to receive and give a little bit, a little piece of everything you receive, you create what's known as this magical circuitry known as the central column. And it's how we're able to create this kind of incredible balance, and miracles come through the world when we're living in this aligned way. So
I love that. I want to just say one thing before I just want to comment on it. So it was so beautiful. I'm like, can you stay the whole day, both of you? I want to just do this. No, there's other good things. It was just like so good. When Jenny was starting this business, of course, I've had like a front row seat because we've known each other so long. But one of the things that I want you to hear, I want to like just pull out a few things that she just said. God is her business partner. Make God your business partner. Make the divine your business partner. If you haven't done it yet, literally be like, okay, you're up, right? And make God your CFO, because God's not on a budget. We don't operate that way. Okay, we operate from an infinite escrow. And what I mean by that is, and I want to really distill it down. So Jenny and I look at the world very similarly, also different, which is what helps us, I think. But one of the things that we do is we're like, well, God can do anything. So let's go. So when she was starting, right, pregnant with her third kid, similar to me, actually, I did a bunch of things like pregnant with my third kid, but pregnant with her third baby, 2 other little girls, like walking into a deli without any of the how figured out, just like, hi, I'm a mom. I made this vegan corned beef. Do you want to try it? It was like, of course I can do that, because if it's meant to happen, it's just going to happen. And I'm coming from wholeness and sweetness. And like, even one time she's like, Kath, I called Factors and they were like, never call during the lunch hour. She's like, cool. The guy yelled at me, but I was like, don't call during the lunch hour. Like, no problem. I'll call later. So like, we're both just like gliding through because God's your business partner. Do you hear this? I want to make sure you hear this. And then we went out the night before your Shark Tank. We went to Casa del Mar, and it was the 4 of us. Her husband, me, I guess he's now like my ex, but best friend. I don't know what he is. Anyway, soulmate. So he's a soulmate for sure. He told me today, he's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, how about the outfit? You want to comment on that? Anyway, we went out the night before and we were talking about Shark Tank and this and that. Of course, she's like, Shark Tank, no, Schmark Tank. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. Like, I'm just here to like do the next kind thing. And that's how Jenny is. Like, I remember so many times I would be like parked in front of your house because one of my kids was like a toddler and still sleeping. You'd run out and be like, can I get you water? What else do you need? Like, one time I come to your house and you had a Coca-Cola t-shirt, except instead of saying Coca-Cola, it said like Kabbalah, it's the real thing, or Torah, it's whatever. And I was like, I love your shirt. She's like, literally, here, take it. And you like literally took off. I was like, whoa, there's your boobs. But anyway, you're like, take the shirt. And I was like, okay. And I wore that shirt for like 20 years. Where is that shirt, by the way? Anyways, that was like in 2005. One time I came to stay with her. This is a cute story, and then I'll get to the point. But my aunt was living in Chelsea in New York City, and we were already best friends, and she was living in Chelsea, but I hadn't yet visited her in this new apartment. And my aunt was having an 80th birthday party for my grandmother, and I needed a place to stay, and this is before Airbnb. So I went onto Craigslist, and I was looking for a local, like, to my aunt's apartment, and I emailed this person on Craigslist. She's like, Kathy, it's me. You just emailed me. That's my apartment. I go, oh, hi. She's like, you don't have to pay me this. Just come, right? So she's like, I'll actually stay if you're in town, right? So I come to your apartment. It's freezing. It's February. My grandmother's birthday is February 3rd. It's pretty cold. I get there at like 5:40 a.m. because I like took a red eye. You open your door and you go, it's free. Take my bed. And there was one bed. It was a studio. You're like, get in the bed. I'm like, it's freezing cold. Like, yeah, go take the bed. That's who she is. God's her business partner. You hear what I'm saying? So one last thing. So she's about to go on Shark Tank, and she's like, you know, it's a moot point. I have $10,000 total in revenue at this point. Now it's millions and millions. But she's like, who goes on Shark Tank and how much have you made? $10,000. You know what I mean? It's like it's money, right? It's like, and that's not done usually. Usually they have like financials, and she's like, I'm a mom. I went to 10 delis in LA, but I'm a nice person, you know? So she gets on the stage. You got to go back because Mark Cuban was asked to pick his 2 favorites ever, and she's one of the 2. And they have like a really beautiful relationship, actually. But which is also unique. He doesn't do that with all his businesses. So Jenny gets on the stage, and if you go back and watch her Shark Tank episode, she's so cute. She's so magnetic, and she asks for a certain percentage, and usually they either get a deal or none. She gets 2 offers. And Mark Cuban offers her more than she asked for, and she's like doing that. She's like, did you just offered me more? Like what's happening, right? Like, That is the possibility of operating on a different plane of existence. Why did that happen? I don't know. Resonance is a funny thing. I don't know. When you're not speaking to the ego in life, because you don't live on that level, something else is happening, right? It's God's timeline. It's different. It's the world of the mystical. It's the world of the miracle. And then he comes up on the stage. It's so cute in the clip. And he goes, Mazel tov, right? And the two of them start talking. And the first thing you told me that night, she calls me and she goes, oh my God, I got 2 deals. I'm in business with Mark Cuban. And she goes, did you know, first of all, he became a vegetarian like sometime before that happened. So he was like all in, but he just really liked her. Okay. Energy is your greatest asset. Energy. It's nothing else. Okay. And then she says to me this, she goes, he and I are sitting here talking, he's Jewish, right? You knew that? I was like, no, I didn't know that. She's like, yeah, Cuban was actually like Shubansky or something. She goes, it turns out, she goes, get this. She goes, it turns out that her grandfather had a deli on the Lower East Side. And she goes, and his grandfather had a deli. And she goes, and the two of us are talking about how, like, given the fact that they're both Jews who had delis at the same time, right? There was clearly a possibility that these two guys are friends, and that in the conversation we had, she's like, I'm getting the sense that at some point in time, our grandparents, someone did a favor for someone, and today, on the divine compensation scale, he just paid it back. Wow. She's like, that's the conversation I just had with Mark Cuban. That's how you manifest the shit out of your life. Did anyone just hear what I said? If you came for one story only, and there's been a few today, that one's a good one. Like, it's all fine and good when you're like, oh, they're dressed so nicely and they're sweet and all this stuff. It's like, oh, it's fucking powerhouses. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's sweet. And yeah, it's actual. Yeah, there's actually concrete ways that it actually works, right? And everybody who's talking a lot about how they think it works and how they think it won't work for you, they're just not on the channel. And having sat with 1,000 people now, can you believe it's 1,000, who are like millionaires and billionaires and conscious and good, because they're only coming on my show if these are like not wealthy, but wealthy, right? It all works this way. So you can keep playing on the 3D linear path, and you can try to move things and push things, or you can be like, hey, God, all right, we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to work on my consciousness. I'm going to be the best version of me. I'm going to make really good choices. I'm going to step into alignment, and you got the rest, right? I know that this is one of your favorite topics, and I don't even know which one of the stories you want to tell.
Story. First of all, I'm so happy
Go.
I listened. Talk about tuning in. I said, don't wear eyeliner today, Rona. And I'm like, but you got to wear, you're like, but you're on the stage. And I was like, I'm not wearing eyeliner today. And I just realized because I cried so much in just this last however long, because we're going there and it feels so good. So yeah, I can do this all day. What again, resonates with me so much. And the point that I would say when it comes to manifesting and what you learn from Kabbalah and what we learn from Tanya and Jewish mysticism, first, I kind of want to take you guys back to the word Kabbalah. Okay, Kabbalah. When's the first time we hear what this word means and when it's used? So imagine Moses, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, he's standing, he doesn't get to go into Israel, if you know the story, but he is handing down the throne to Joshua. And he's like, look, there's Israel. Here are the people. You're going to take them across this land. And I just need you to know how to receive the downloads I've been getting from God, right? Like Moses had the direct line. Like, how nice would that be if we're like, okay, God, let's go. What do I need to know? And God's like, here you go. So Moses was teaching Joshua how to receive. Kabbalah means to receive. And so the first thing I would start with in this, how do we manifest, and the personal story, is being open to receiving your download, right? And that comes with really not playing your knowing small. So when you get the vision that I'm supposed to do something, and you all know that feeling, you're sitting at the edge of your seat, you could fall over with excitement. I see it in you guys right now, where you're like, oh my God, I know I'm supposed to do this. I know, and whatever that this is for you is different than mine and yours, right? The deli, me, something different. It's all your personal right? Receivership of that vision. And so first and foremost is knowing that vision is so holy and so sacred. And I had a vision. I would sit on it forever. And mine was, you're going to get on a stage somewhere and you're going to talk about Torah and this, right? And I remember 2 years ago, I was at the Saban Theater and I saw Gabby Bernstein. You guys, I'm sure many of you follow Gabby. And she was talking about manifesting. And I'm sitting there and she's like, what are we manifesting? And, you know, people were raising their hands and she wouldn't call on me. And I was like, please call on me because I'm manifesting doing exactly what you're doing and bringing the Torah, the God component in. 2 years later, and I'm sitting on this idea, you guys, and I'm just like learning like you are, right? Doing all the work. And this vision keeps coming back. Rona, you're supposed to be on that stage. Rona, you're supposed to talk about all the things and connect it to God, Torah, right? Like the wisdom of the ancient genius that is at play. And I had my download. I was sitting at synagogue. I opened up the synagogue, the Torah, which I love reading every week. And I have the question that Cathy asked all of you guys, which is, God, what do you want me to know today? And it was this entire, the passage that I was reading that Shabbat was all about the quantum. You know, it was about the Egypt. And while we were going through Egypt, God, we all know the story about the man. Do you guys know about the manna that God gave the bread, the holy bread, and said it was considered bread, but really it could taste like whatever you wanted it to taste like, right? And that's what kept the Jewish people alive 40 years in the desert. And I'm looking at this and I have this specific, like, I would say talent where I can hear something, read something, and I can take it way deeper. And I'm like just watching people flip the pages, right? And I'm sitting there at synagogue and I'm like, are you all reading the same thing I'm reading? The food tasted however you wanted it to taste like. And I'm like, oh, so God wants what we want, right? God wants what you want. He didn't just say, you get what you get. You don't get upset, right? Like that's what we tell our kids. You don't like it? Sorry, make cereal. Like, no. Do you want it to taste like a burger? I want it to taste like a burger for you. Do you want it to taste like fettuccine Alfredo? I want you to enjoy your fettuccine Alfredo. Guys, that is so big. And when I literally, I felt like I collapsed and my mom was sitting next to me and I was just sobbing in synagogue. Like, what's going on with you? And I said, this is it. God wants that vision of me speaking at the Saban, me standing up there, sharing something, being a vessel. That's not something light. He wants what I want. And literally that night, I called my connection at the Saban. I said, what do you have available? She's like, we have something in 3 weeks. It's on the 18th. If you guys know, the number 18 is Chai, which is all about what this is, living your most optimal life. Life Chai, it's like being so plugged in, right? Your highest vibe, highest frequency. She's like, it's the 18th of September. Do you want it? I was like, I'll take it. 3 weeks. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, guys. Lisa, who's in the audience, was one of the ones who was like, go, girl, go. And I had just met her at your book reading, by the way. I met her like 2 days before. I said, Lisa, should I do this? She's like, yes. Point is, why I'm sharing this whole story, guys, is that I leaned into this knowing that that vision must be holy, right? If God gave this to me, and then I read this, he wants what I want. I'm going to override that. And that's what we're doing all the time. And I'm thinking that on the car right here. It's like, what am I doing coming to Cathy's retreat? I was her groupie. I was sitting there emailing her like, will you be on my podcast? Until I finally met her, I said, I slept in your bed. And she's like, oh, we're going to do a podcast. But it's like this whole stop overriding your knowing. So I said, I'll take it. You know what I said? I said, I'm going to put God to the test. I said, if you want what I want, and I have this vision that does not freaking like leave me alone, I'm going to cap you and tell you it can't be done. Like, do you guys realize the chutzpah? Like chutzpah in Hebrew is like the audacity that when God gives us a vision, we're like, oh, but who am I? I think that's the biggest slap in the face to God. Forget like being humble and all. God is like, girl, bro, I gave you A, B, C, D, right? And here you are going to tell me that it's not enough, that I'm not enough, you're going to cap. And I kept thinking, all right, God, even if 20 people show up, I'll be happy. And then that voice was like, you're going to cap God? You're going to tell God that only 20 people should show up? I was like, okay, God, we'll get an extension. Let's go to 100. Let's go to 200. Guys, I had 400 people show up in 3 weeks to the Saban Theater. And thank you. Thank you. And it wasn't even about the people. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is so cool, even though I was on the marquee and it was like a Cathy moment on this thing. I was like, oh my God, that's me. But it wasn't about me. It was embodying for the people that I coach and that I teach all the things that I'm sitting here preaching, right? It was a moment of, are you going to embody it? Are you going to step into your own knowing so that it can ripple into the world, right? And so when I was able to see how it is so true that if you can see the vision, which we all have, and make the time every morning, like she's talking about, in the world of the mysticism, the Jewish mysticism, it's called Hidbotadut, where you wake up every morning, you're literally, I call my office hours with God, outside shouting. My neighbors are at 6 a.m. are like, God, is she there again? And you're just having that, all right, God, what is the vision? What is the vision? This is the vision. And you are constantly cementing it every single morning. And you actually, like she did, put your money where your vision is and say, I have so much faith. I'm going deep, and I have complete surrender. The universe expands in ways where God's like, finally, get out of my way. And that, I think, is the most beautiful part of this, because then you just allow the abundance. You stop the limiting. You stop wondering. And I said this at the event where we think we work at the Department of Water and Power. All right. You're coming around checking the meters. Did you pay this month? Because if not, I'm going to have to turn off your power, right? Have you ever had like your water turned off? And you're like, oh my God, like what happened? You have an electricity issue, whatever it is. You didn't pay the bills. I don't know. But we are walking around telling God, I didn't pay my bill, so I'm just going to turn off the meter today. And God is like this abundant flow of light wanting to pour through you, and we're adjusting the meter. Like the audacity that takes. And so when you look at it in that frame of mind, where it's like, he wants what you want, he's pouring this endless light through you, and all you have to do is hold on to that vision and start implementing what it takes to plant that seed, right, for it to grow. And the rest is done. How powerful is that?
Oh, that is so good. So, so, so good. I want to do two things. One, I'm going to give you guys both back the mic just if you want to close with something, so if there's anything you want to leave us with. And then after that, I want to give you 5 minutes to write, because I feel like these are such quantum conversations, and I don't want you to forget the aha that you just had, because part of what the Satan does is it goes, oh, I'll hide that again. You'll have to go find it again. It's like, no, you're going to remember this time to remember what you just heard, right? There's taking notes, I always say, and then there's making notes. Taking notes is like, oh, you wrote down what she said. Making notes is like, this is the note I'm making to myself, not to forget this, because this was God speaking to me through this message today. And I came here for that reason, to make sure I heard it. So I want to give you guys just a moment. If there's something you want to close with, it's just one last nugget for today. You can both do that, and then we'll give them some time to make some notes.
Well, off of what Rona was just saying so beautifully, there's a line in one of our ancient texts, Pirkei Avot, that says, if you make your will God's will, God will make his will your will. And so what does that really mean? If we can show up in this soul state, in this greatest alignment, in one of the things that it said, we're right now reading the story of Avraham in the Torah, and one of the things it says is that he was from the ancient land of in Samaria, which is like Turkey, Iraq area, and at this time the language was all present tense. There was nothing in the future. There was nothing about a better tomorrow. There was nothing about going places or achieving anything. And he literally introduced that language as he introduced monotheism and so much more into the world. And so the idea that we have this opportunity to come down here, when we signed on the dotted line, we said we're going to go from this kind of like heavenly abyss where everything is known and there's total closeness to God, to come into this broken world where everyone has problems and suffering. And if you don't have it today, then you're dealing with someone else that's very close to you that has to, that we agreed to come into this place where there's problem. We come into the world crying as a baby and we leave crying leaving because we don't realize the full story. And so again, as Gedalia Fenster, our amazing teacher, says, he says, if you think that like whatever's in front of you isn't a good scene, it's like telling the director of a movie, I don't like the movie, but you haven't seen the beginning or the end. We don't know the whole story, what's come lifetimes before this, what our real soul journey is. We don't know what the end acts are going to be of this world. The rabbis do say that if you're alive in this world today, if you're holding an iPhone in your hand, you've been here for a beat. You've been here for lifetimes, okay? We're in a very, I got in my car today and hit a button and it drove by itself here, and I'm hitting a couple more buttons and food's getting delivered to the house. Like, that doesn't just happen in 4 seconds. We've been here for some rides for that to happen. And so if we're here right now in this life, on this journey, in this like elevated place of the world, and we're learning from masters like Cathy, I mean, we've already got a ticket into our soul potential. And so I just want to say that, like, take that book, make those notes, and know that there's not only a better tomorrow, but there's higher and higher versions of yourself that you can constantly access, and that the world will get even more beautiful as you do so.
I just want to say before you sum up, Rona, and I'll give you the last word. So just today, I get a text from my friend Amy Purdy, who, anyone watch Dancing with the Stars? Okay, my kids and I are obsessed with it. It's like religious for us. We sit down, no one's allowed to talk. We watch everything. We vote. We do all the things. I think either Alex Earl or Robert Irwin is going to win. They're both amazing. But Amy texted me this morning to say congratulations on the book. I talked to her also last week. It's her birthday. But she's here today because she's in the audience of Dancing with the Stars because she won runner-up. She was Derek Huff's partner, and they won runner-up like several years ago. And I say that because in light of your story, some of you know that Amy lost her legs from the knees down, both legs, when she was 19 from meningitis. So she had her legs until she was 19, and she tells the story that she remembers just being very ordinary, just a very average person. And she always wanted to be extraordinary, but like she tried out for the dance team in high school, she never made it. Like she was friends with a pretty girl, but she wasn't known as the pretty girl. And she was a massage therapist so that she could like get on the slopes and have her like free time to snowboard. That was her favorite thing. And one day during like a massage, she contracted, God forbid, Lola knew it should never happen to anybody. She contracted meningitis within 24 hours. She was almost dead, lost her legs, lost her spleen, lost her hearing in her left ear, died for like 12 minutes on the table. They brought her back, no legs. So the doctor's like, it's amazing that you're here. There was like a 2% chance of you making it. You made it. And she looks down and she understands, like, she has no legs. And the first question she asked the doctor is, when am I getting on a snowboard? And he's like, he's just staring at her. And then he's like, you're hopefully going to try prosthetics and maybe walk, but we're not sure yet what's walking for you, what's not snowboarding. And she got on her prosthetics. 6 months later, she's walking. She says to her friend, who's a snowboarder, let's go to the mountain. I'm trying. And he's like, you're going to die. You're going to get flown off the snowboard, like at 60 miles an hour. She's like, I'm doing it. She did. She got flung off the snowboard. The prosthetics went down. She was like somewhere else. And she's sitting in the snow. And he's like, it's okay. Your life will be something else. And she goes, oh, it will be something else. I'll be the first one who does this.
Oh, I love that.
So she went to 10 engineers until she was able to engineer the kind of feet that could bend and mimic your feet when you're snowboarding. They're in the Smithsonian. She then created a whole Paralympic sport out of prosthetic snowboarders. Like, that's insane. Thousands of people have now done that on prosthetics because of her. And then this girl who couldn't dance growing up wins runner-up on Dancing with the Stars with 2 prosthetic legs. And she said that every week of rehearsal, while everyone's already starting to rehearse, it took her 3 days to find different feet for each dance because the salsa needs one kind of foot and the two-step needs a totally different kind of foot because it wouldn't do it. So she's engineering different feet for, if you watch the show, she's got different feet she had to use for different things. The story, the reason I bring it up, first of all, it's so epic, and I just talked to her this morning, so it's top of mind. And you can see her, she'll be on Dancing with the Stars in the audience tonight because they brought back all the like winners. But what you just said is, you don't know the story. You think you know the story. You don't know the story. I'm going to say it again. You think you know. You don't know the story. When you put on God's glasses, then you actually start to see the story. If you're willing to see it, if you're up for that adventure, if you're up for your real power, right? So the girl who went from being ordinary completely revolutionized the world. She should basically wear a superhero cape because she's a superhero.
Seriously.
So what your mind goes, that's bad. Your soul goes, let's go. That's the choice every fucking day. Your mind's going to go bad, bad, bad. And your soul goes, ooh, where's the quantum possibility here? Because if it's happening, you sure as hell know God just sent you on assignment. Let's fucking go. What's the next step? Where is it? And if you want to look for the evidence of that, that's a fun assignment. Because you will find that every single moment that you look for it. There it is, there it is, there it is. I literally could go on for hours. Like I just had 7 more of those stories to tell, but I'm not going to tell them right now. That's what she just said. You don't know the movie. And when I talk to Amy, which thank God, I feel so grateful to have her as a friend. I feel like she's like a not person. Like I'm like, you're angelic. Like, who are you? She has normal ups and downs, just like all of us also. And she's just awesome. But she's like, I love my life. Like I would never change it. She's like, I feel bad for other people a lot because I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, you're just so not in the quantum. Like you complain about nothing, you know, you don't know your potential. You don't understand how powerful you are. It's like, I feel for other people all the time. She's like, my life is fucking amazing. And she's in tremendous pain, by the way, tremendous pain. Because it's hard to put a lot of pressure on prosthetics. It hurts. But she's like, I have the most amazing husband, I have the most amazing life. I snowboard. She's the face of Toyota. She's like been in the Olympic Games. I mean, it's like she makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per speech. People just bowl over at her. They're like, they can't. She's just amazing, right? And it's just interesting because what did I say earlier? You know what a miracle is? A change in perspective. Rona, you get the last word, and then I'm going to let you journal because I now know for sure you got something to write down.
And on that note, again, it's like this flow. Can we just flow like this all day and just pick up where let's go. You know, the perspective thing is so huge and it's such a Kabbalah concept. You know, we talk about the vessel, right? You've all heard this term already by now where you are a vessel for light. And there's a Japanese art, the experiment they do, I'm sure you guys have seen it, where they break a vessel. Have you guys ever done this? And then you're supposed to piece it back together. And I went to one of these workshops and it was really interesting because I'm sitting there, you know, as a mindset trainer and as a motivational speaker, and I'm going through, you know, you see life differently when you do this all day long. And these women we're all sitting there, here's a little vase, and you know, you break it with the hammer and they give you this like glue that's like this gold ribbon, that's like a sticky ribbon that you're supposed to piece the pieces back together. And I'm watching people, you know, looking around and they're so proud of themselves. Like, look, I put mine together and there's a ribbon and it's prettier. And my pieces are like all over the place. One got stuck inside while I was trying to glue the rest together. I wish I brought it for you guys. There was no putting it back together, right? And I look at these women, it's funny because you're saying, you know, she's saying she feels bad for other people because they don't, and I was like, are they really, like they felt bad for me. They're like, oh my God, she can't figure this out, poor thing. And I am like, I can't believe you guys are that boring. Like, you put it back exactly the same way. You missed the whole point. Okay, the gold ribbon, it's cute. It looks exactly the same. There's no more space for light to come through than it was before. And mine, there was this big opening that for the life of me, I couldn't put a piece back. And I thought, oh, that's the piece I no longer had to carry. Do you guys get that? We're not piecing ourselves back together the way we were. You know, a lot of clients are like, how do I get back to that person I was before I had kids and before I had... You're not. That's the beauty. There is a new version. There are things you shed. There are stories that are no longer yours. And that's the beauty of the vessel, is the expansion. Now so much more light can come through that what I perceived was a hole. So it's that miracle of that perception. Can we shift that and see what is no longer ours and where instead can more light pass through us? That's the journey.
Oh, I love you both so much. It's just the most fun thing. And I love all of you. Thank you. Yeah, you can clap for them and me. No, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you for, like, you can feel in a room when it's like message received, right? You can just feel how good that feels. So thank you. And I knew when you guys chose, because we have like this whole day. And I said to every people, like, what's the itinerary? When should I come? I go, whenever you want. I'm like, come, don't come. You chose to come, right? There's people, not to throw shade, it's great that they're coming when they're coming, right? But it's like, you chose to come for the whole day. You're like, let's fucking go, right? And other people waltz in, whatever, it's all, and that's still beautiful, right? Like, but it's so beautiful. We could feel that you received it, and you don't know what you gave us by receiving it. I never, ever, ever record like by myself. I always create and record with others because you just created the channel. I literally don't plan what I'm going to say. It's in your capacity to receive that the download is coming. So thank you for having this wide of capacity, because look what even they asked me, what are we talking about? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So there it is. So thank you for your vessel. Thank you for your vessel. Thank you for your presence. What we're going to do right now is you're going to have the next, it's 11:15, and right after this you have a break to eat lunch, but you really didn't come here to eat. You came for all of this, but you will have a break. So I really want you to take time, because I know it's so easy to just get into conversation and forget yourself for a second. This is actually just as important as the listening, to listen to yourself and make notes right now. So I want you in the collective consciousness of this kind of presence to take the next 10 minutes, I'll tell you when the time's up, and just make some notes. And then you will have time to go eat lunch, and then we won't start again until 1 o'clock. So you have, right? 12. But that's okay. You have 30 minutes. You don't need more than 30. It's not like a full 3-course filet mignon lunch. It's a light brunch, okay? Take the 10 minutes, and then you can go, and you'll have a good 35 minutes to just chill, okay?
Thank you.